my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons. Hey!
Hey! Krista, you're looking pretty good there.
Well, you know, I transplanted all the blonde hair for, so.
From your head to your beard, right?
Yeah. Because I was jealous of Tex, so, I stole his hat and everything, so.
Well, guess what? Krista tonight is having the gremlins.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
She lost her camera, lost everything, had to switch computers. She's trying to get everything fixed. I don't know. Usually it's me.
You usually are fighting the gremlins, and it's very, very rare that Krista is. But
I know.
She had to go to her work computer. I mean, it's crazy. But
I know.
On things as we speak, and we got Mike in the back in down yonder and backstage. That's what the word I'm
We got him down yonder.
Now, Mike Familant is. Brandy, do you want to talk about him? Because he's going to be at the conference.
Well, I'm going to let him describe what he does and which I find amazing. Right. He is a definite traveler in looking for Bigfoot, which is to me, that's my dream job. That's my dream job. That's what I want to do for a living.
Me and you both.
I want to spend all my time out there.
Well, it's like I had a shirt that said, yes, I have a retirement plan. My plan is to find Bigfoot.
That's right. No matter how long it takes.
Yeah. The problem is we found him, but nobody believes us. That's the problem.
I looked right at him.
Yeah. We watched him walk around. I mean, how good grief. Well, there she is.
There she is. She made it back.
And I got my old computer back. I have no flipping idea. I don't know. I can't explain that.
I like how you cleaned that up, Krista. Thank you.
Yeah. No flipping idea.
Because I know she was doing some cussing a minute ago.
Yeah. So who knows? Anyway.
So you want to go to the conference real quick?
Sure, we can talk about the conference.
I think we should.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what I wanted to do. I'm so sorry.
You can go ahead and do it now. You already started.
Well, fine.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
And boom, we got this. Ha ha.
And
ha.
boom. There it is. Boom. Boom. It's so small I can't read it, but
I got it. And I'm getting better at this. I don't take forever to read it.
All right, awesome.
So September 19th and 20th, 2025, we got the Crossing Realms Conference. We're going to touch on UFOs, paranormal, and cryptids. It's at the Eagleton Civic Center. over on 1015 West Royal Street, Richmond, Missouri. We are featuring the speakers, by the way, are Josh Hurd, Professor Heather Mosier, William Lunsford, Lady Ann Celine, Ron Murphy, Dr. Dean Burcham, if you want your UFO fix, Greg Ogles, filmmaker, researcher, and Dogman Eye Candy, Frank Capoletta, and Dan Klein with Haunted Garage, and they are bringing a haunted car, folks. How awesome is that? Sir Brian Bowden and Mikhail Ramirez with Sasquatch Theory. Our special guests include Ken Gerhard, Dana Stricker, Brent Thomas from Paranormal Report Hole, Ryan Edwards, Ryan Edwards, Mike Familiant, which is the man you're about to meet, Christopher Garatano, which will be showing his latest film Friday night after the meet and greet. We have Linda Eastburn, David Glidden. Now, something else about Michael Ramirez, Friday night, you're going to be able to, at the meet and greet, you're going to be able to sit down. He's going to talk while we're eating. And then when Christopher airs his, I had it rolling. Christopher, when he airs his film after dinner, we're going to have popcorn, sodas, and that type of thing for you. And it's hosted by the girls here, Brandy and Krista, and the Blondes and Booze. Monica Rawlins, our Paranormal World, Paranormal Paul, Paranormal Among Us. Danielle Diva, the Diva Dimension. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Randy Gilbert with Truth and Tinfoil, or as we lovingly call him, our tech troll. Donny Cho, and he says a lot of stuff. Jason McLean, well, we had to include him. We didn't have a choice. We are sponsored by, and of course, I'll be there too. We are sponsored by Doug Highcheck, Monster Quest producer, Hanger One Publishing, Curious Realms podcast, and Pair with a Norm, which is Marilyn Bast, who is having a gallery reading Saturday after the conference. Now, Saturday night after, I'll do that. Saturday night after the conference, there is a ghost hunt. But it's sold out, folks. It is sold out, and I apologize. But we got a lot of stuff, other stuff. You can always hang out and
I will tell you this too. So Kathy, the museum curator, one of Brandy and I's dear friends, we were talking about the ghost hunt being sold out. She's like, man, I can't believe it sold out so fast. And so I know we just haven't figured out a time yet, but the day of the conference, she's going to give at least one, if not two, of the ghost tours of the museum. It'll be during the day. It will be free. You'll just have to register through our Eventbrite. So it'll be about an hour. And if you actually want the ghost tour and you didn't get tickets for the overnight, Kathy's willing to do a ghost tour.
See, man, and I've made this remark before, Krista. This thing just the snowball keeps growing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So well, what I wanted to mention is if you want tickets for the gallery reading, if you're interested in the gallery reading, you can get them on Eventbrite along with all the other tickets, and they have tiers that you can get. You can purchase all the tickets or, one ticket or two. It just depends on you. Just go to not Curious. Here we go again. I keep mixing these two up. Crossing Realms Conference. There it is. The Crossing Realms Conference under Eventbrite. You should find it there. If not, you can go under Blondes and Booze also on Eventbrite and should find it there also.
And also our tech guy that it's not even on the thing that we need to add on the list.
On there.
Is Christopher Jordan on there?
Well, Curious Realms.
Oh, okay. Well, he will be he's our tech guy.
Yes.
And he's a great guy. Go subscribe to his channel as well. And we're actually honored and very lucky to have him come and do this.
Yes.
Because usually he charges a whole lot of money to do this, and he's really given us a break. So
right. And I watch his podcast. So and that's why I keep getting it all mixed up.
Yeah.
Well, and he's got some great stories in his own right, because I was fortunate enough at the last Jefferson conference to sit down and have a few drinks with the man, and it's unbelievable how many bands that he's done this for. Big bands, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm you know, it's just crazy to hear the roadie stories and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a weird.
Yep. And then our ghost hunt is being put on by, we'll all be there, but we aren't gonna, be part of the ghost hunt. So it is After Dark Paranormal out of Quincy, Illinois. Terry Mosby, she's been on our show. She's been on Paranormal Paul's show. She's a good friend of Brandy and I's and her group. I know her and I think Holly are coming. And I'm
Right.
There's a few of the gals from that team, and they'll be coming and doing the ghost hunt. And may I add, Terry has some cool equipment, including the ghost helmet, the God's helmet. So we'll be bringing that. So everybody who purchased tickets gets to see that in action.
I guess I'll have to bring Nick so Holly's got somebody to hide behind.
Holly probably showed him a thing or two.
Yeah.
That was funny. Oh my gosh. Hey, let's get Mike up here. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're done.
Hey, how are you?
So exciting.
Hey,
We're
Thank you
glad
for
you get to be a part of our conference.
yes. Hey, thank you so much for having me on the podcast and being a part of the Crossing Realms. That is just going to be so much fun. I was looking at the lineup before, and I can't believe I'm part of it. Thank you guys so much for that.
Absolutely.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. You have a
it just keeps snowballing, and we had to stop it. We had to stop it.
You got to stop it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we got
Just
we're talking about
Yeah.
doing one in 2026, so we got to save some for 2026.
Right?
Hey, you have to start amazing so you can just get better. That's all
There
it
you go.
is, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
It'd be a hard one to top, though.
I think you all can do
Yes.
it. And even we're not even done the first one yet. It's still not even
Right.
close yet. Oh, I
Right.
can't wait. I'm so excited. Hey, fun fact for you guys. This is going to be my first time ever in Missouri.
Oh wow! And you are coming from New Jersey, if I remember
ma'am.
correctly.
New Jersey.
Wow!
Yep.
Wow!
I can't believe it. You're going to be in the Homo Momo.
Oh,
What
I
is
am
happening?
so excited. I know. I can't wait to just get out there. We're going to be filming my show while we're out there. We're going to be doing, everything that hopefully I can, I'm going to obviously meet all you guys and we could definitely get to know each other a little bit more better than the computer screen.
Absolutely. And while you're here in Missouri too, you're driving out here too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, that you should allow you an extra day or so and go through the town of Louisiana, Missouri, where that whole incident took place.
Writing it down.
Louisiana, Missouri, and it's actually only about an hour north of me, where I live. But yeah, that whole incident took place over there.
Got it.
Yes, but don't worry, Mike, about your drive. Honestly, I do live in Missouri. And this is a close event for me, but I will tell you, it takes me 6.5 hours to get there from where I'm at. So,
And you're
for
in the
being
same
close,
state.
6.5 hours. Yes.
I was looking at it. It's it's going to be just by about a half hour the furthest drive I've done for any investigation, any Bigfoot thing related ever. So
how far is it
guys.
for you?
17 and a half.
17 and a half. Wow, that's quite a drive.
Yeah.
So Brent Thomas from Paranormal Portal too, he is also coming in. He lives in northern Idaho.
Oh, that's the
so he's
way.
He
that's
said,
awesome.
Well, he said he has 22-hour trip. Yeah, and then our friend that's co-hosting the show with us, Donny Cho, he's in what state's he in?
He's in Maryland.
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 He's coming. Yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah, that's a we could probably carpool at that point.
There you
go. There you go. I'll let Donnie know.
Yeah. So it's
I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't stick you in a car that long with Donnie. That is inhumane, and I wouldn't do it. So there may possibly, if we can work our magic, be somebody coming from Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Maybe. We'll see.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Pretty crazy, like the distances, because I know, Chris Garitano, Brian Bowden, they're both in Florida, so there's a lot of people coming quite a ways. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I make a suggestion?
absolutely.
Can you get a big United States map right on the entrance and get some pins or push
Ooh.
pins
That's a
and
great
show where
idea.
everybody's from?
Absolutely. That's a
That'd be
Yeah,
really
have
cool.
everybody pin their everybody pin
hometown.
their home space. Yeah.
we talked about giving away a prize for the furthest distance, the furthest traveled. Mm-hmm. Because I know there's people that bought tickets, and I know they're like in some of the southern states, and so yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I love that idea. So we actually will have to do that. You know that, guys?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'll take
Now,
20%.
my question is, I think we should get 2 maps. Okay. I think we should get a regular map and a flat earth map.
So which one has more pins at the end of the night?
So we really need, yeah, exactly. That will be taking that will be a poll right there.
Do you live on regular Earth or flat Earth? Would be my question.
Or we could do 2 and have one of them like where you come from, and the other one if you've had a Bigfoot or some sort of cryptid sighting.
Yeah, or a paranormal or alien encounter. Where did you have it? And have everybody put a pin in it.
Yeah, we could color code the pins for a different type of.
Get a Missouri map so you can zoom in a little bit on Missouri areas, so you get more of the locals that come in and have sightings. It'd be pretty cool.
That's what I'm seeing. See, Mike, what I'm talking about, when you start talking anything involving this conference, just snowballs.
It's good stuff, man. It's
see where everybody's from, and now we're at 3 or 4 freaking maps. 9,000 colors of pins. So
now you need to budget for push pins. You
Right.
need to budget for maps.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we could if we're gonna go this far, we might as well just unwrap the whole enchilada here and get a map of Alpha Centauri and everything else, because you never know where somebody's from. I'm just saying.
Too funny.
Just get a world map and be done.
If we have aliens with us, they're I'm from this star system.
But that's where Donny comes in.
Right.
Yeah, we're not sure what star system he comes from.
Not really.
Yeah. But seriously, Mike, if you do have an extra day or two, if you're really wanting to do some searching and things like that, the Ozark Mountains here, there's a lot of encounters in that area, which is where Brandy, she's southern, not far from there, but there's a lot of Bigfoot in Missouri.
With my with coming out there, I do plan on spending more than a couple days, more than one day, obviously, for the conference, because I can't justify driving that far and spending 2 days out there. So you're going to get me. Unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with me for a couple days.
Absolutely.
And so that means hopefully we can actually, like I said, kind of before, go out squatching, but more so than that. Can find some good areas to actually look for Bigfoot and kind of center around there. That's where we want to have our base camp and stuff like that. And that's where we want to film and be in the center of it all. So I'm excited.
So
I can't wait.
You know what I'm hearing? In my head? Fresh meat. That's what I hear.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
So, I don't know. We haven't really got to talk yet about Bigfoot and that kind of thing, but we will. I don't know what your feelings are on Dogman. However, about 8 miles from the museum where that is, there was the Amazon driver, and Brandy and I have talked it to death, honestly. There was a guy who supposedly it's kind of led to believe that maybe a Dogman got him, but
Really?
Yeah. Like we've talked to, we have an insight on like the funeral home guy and things like that. So
Interesting.
yeah, and it's only like 8 miles from the museum. And then another guy that we know, he was leaving a location 8 miles from the museum, and a dog man crossed in front of him and his family.
Hmm.
And I had a Bigfoot encounter right in that same area.
Interesting.
Right.
So there's a lot of weirdness there. There really is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look who's
that's
from
cool.
there.
Yeah.
Oops.
And Paul, too. I mean,
Yeah.
good God. Don't get no weirder than that.
Yeah. I mean, but we do have to talk about it because, not even northern Missouri, but let's talk about southern Missouri. I mean, we're right here on the cusp of the Mark Twain National Forest. And that is a vast amount of land. And there's been so many sightings and so many weird disappearances, weird deaths, should I say? Weird deaths. Just things that just don't make sense. They can't make it make sense. Just all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, Missouri's got a lot, a lot.
It does. We also have what is the Ozark Howler? We have that.
Yeah, the Ozark Howler, and I mean, but you can't. A lot of people overlook Missouri, and you shouldn't.
We're full of caves too, and that's something that I'd like to talk to you about. I believe that a lot of these creatures, they follow the cave systems, and I think that they, kind of like their homes, maybe. And Missouri is the cave state, so.
Thank you, T-Bone.
Yes,
Thank you, T-Bone.
Thank you.
T-Bone. Nice.
We got more in the booze club. Welcome to the booze club, everybody.
Yeah.
And remember, if you get a membership, I'm trying to play a Rob thing here. I'm trying to get better at this. If
You
get a
are.
membership from the booze and BMR and the Porch, what are you? You're a paranormal porch pirate.
Yep.
That's good.
Triple threat.
Yep.
That's it.
Werewolf says Mark Twain Forest is home of the North American crackhead. That too.
I can't wait to find one of them. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You won't have to
That'll
look
be
very far. Just sit there and wait a minute.
Yeah, they'll
Right.
probably all conjugate.
So Mike, how did you get into Bigfoot?
Oh man. So it's kind of like a kind of funny story. Never was like into growing up. I was always like, put me in front of the TV screen with a movie, video games, especially. I was totally cool with that. Then growing up, totally not into the outdoor thing. Anyways, 2011 comes around and I'm working at a beach resort in Sarasota, Florida, which was the best job that I have ever had before, right? The boss was like, hey, if you want, you can go out and watch the sunset on the beach with the guests every night. I'm like,
Wow.
You don't got to tell me twice,
Right.
Right.
So anyways, I was I came in one evening and I was watching the show on TV that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the name of. Can I say it?
Sure.
Finding Bigfoot. Everybody's favorite, Bigfoot TV show. And at the end of the show, they were like, hey, if you want, you can go out with the team and you could look for Bigfoot. So I said, oh, come on, So that night I bought, they were very, very expensive tickets. I purchased 2 tickets, one for me, one for my fiance, whom I did not tell we were going to go out looking for Bigfoot. This was going to be a little pre-wedding surprise,
Oops.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so we were living in this 1-bedroom apartment, and like I said, never been camping before, and they require all this stuff. You got to get like a tent and a sleeping bag and the headlamp and stuff, right? So I'm hiding all of this stuff in like this in our 1-bedroom patio closet, underneath the Christmas decorations. She's never gonna find this stuff ever, right? But I come home from work one evening about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks before this expedition comes up, and I'm really excited for it. Low-key excited because she can't know about it. And I get home, and I'm greeted by her at the doorway, and she has this look on her face. And Krista, Brandy, the look that you give the guys. Yeah, text.
What's the
The look.
I know that look very well. I get it on a nightly basis.
Brandy just did it. Yes, that just brought back flashbacks. And good God, yes. And anyway, so she said, Mike, she did something that she had never done ever before. She decided to clean the apartment. And she found all this stuff, and she said, Mike, what are we doing? And I said, hun, we are going to North Florida to look for Bigfoot, right? And then we broke up.
Oh man.
So there was that.
Wow.
Anyways, back to the story. We ended up getting a job. I'm an EMT and a firefighter by trade. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that. So I was working on the ambulance. I got a job working on the ambulance for the city of Tampa. Knew absolutely nobody. So I had these tickets which I found out were non-refundable, which
Ouch.
I did not want to go on this Bigfoot expedition anymore after this breakup. That was like totally not the thing on the top of my list to do. But anyways, I had 3 ambulance partners, and I had picked like I said, I didn't know anybody. I had picked the weirdest partner. His name is Jimmy. And I said, Jimmy, I got to go look for Bigfoot. Do you want to come with me? And he said, and I swear to this day, he said, oh my God, I've always wanted to do that. And boom, best friend to this day. So we go up to North Florida. We look for Bigfoot, and we get up there. And I'm not going to bore you with the details. There's like 60 other people there. And I was like, come on, how are we going to find Bigfoot with 60 other people? This is my first exposure to a BFRO investigation. Those of you who may have or may not be, knowledgeable about them, but so like, oh, okay, that's kind of how we're doing it. Gotcha. So a couple days goes by. We're there for 3 nights, 4 days, and we get absolutely zero evidence. Nothing happens. I mean, it was really cool. We met witnesses. We talked to researchers. Really cool stuff. But nothing. I mean, nothing's until the last night, right? So Jimmy and I were sitting by our own little personal campfire. We're camping about 60 yards away from everybody because we thought everybody was just going to be weird.
Right.
They were. And we're camping kind of, far away from everybody. And all of a sudden we hear, it's about 2:00 in the morning. We're watching a meteor shower go over. And it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And all of a sudden we hear a tree knock, bam, from one side of camp. And I thought immediately that it was the people that put on the expedition. I was like, oh, okay. They're hoaxing us. We didn't get any evidence this expedition. So that's whatever. No big deal. I didn't think twice about it. About 2 minutes later, bam, knock from the complete opposite side. So I was like, wow, these people got to be pretty good, Anyways, a couple minutes goes by, maybe 10 minutes goes by. You hear come crashing down through the forest. Plunk, a fist-sized rock. Now, it was at this point in my life where I said, nope. This is how horror movies start. I am getting out of here. And Jimmy was like, well, if you want to sleep in the car, you're more than welcome to sleep in the car. By the time he said that, I had my sleeping bag and I was in the car. And then he came up back to the car and he's like, Mike, Bigfoot knock on trees and they throw rocks. Like, this could be squatchy activity that we're having right now. So I said, yeah, I suppose you're right. So we went back out by the campfire. Over the course of the next 15 minutes, 4 more of these fist-sized rocks come crashing down, land 5 feet away from us.
Nice.
So it was at this point in my life where, well, Jimmy came up to me, and we're both freaking out. He came up to me and he said, Mike, I got an idea. I'm going to throw a rock back at it. I said, Jimmy, I don't think that's a good idea, man. You know, so he takes a rock and he chucks it back in that direction, right? And I knew it wasn't a person because at that exact moment, a laptop-sized 15-pound boulder came crashing down, landed 5 to 10 feet, 5 feet away from us, like 6 feet away from us.
Wow.
So that was it. That was our first experience. Sleepless night. The next morning, we asked our camp neighbors, all 60 of them. We asked them, hey, did anybody, hear or see anything? And nobody did. So we wanted to be all scientific since this was like a research expedition, right? So we wanted to measure how close this thing could have been that was throwing these rocks at us. And the closest this thing could have been was like 75 yards away from us, no closer.
Wow.
So I'll leave it up to whoever's listening to determine what that could have been.
Yeah.
But to me, that's pretty much outside of human range. And I mean, unless Nolan Ryan's chucking rocks at, 2 o'clock in the morning, which could very well be. He could be hurting for money. You never know.
Well, I know Nolan, and he has,
you know,
he's
Nolan.
got a habit of wandering out and around in the woods and chunking rocks.
That's too funny.
Oh my goodness. Doesn't that remind you, Krista, of the same thing that we kind of went through?
Yeah, I was just gonna have you talk a little bit to Mike about that. Because you're the one that
I'll make this brief because all of our listeners have heard this, but Krista and I were at a similar kind of thing, but it wasn't as many people. This was a very limited amount of people. And we had been out there for like 3 days, we're all smelling really good and all that kind of good stuff, and hanging out. And a storm came in and I had a mattress on the floor of the tent. So I'm like, I'm going to get wet. So before it rained, I picked up all of my stuff and I put it in the car. Krista was still in the tent because she had a cot. And next thing you know, this big storm comes in, it's total chaos. Everything is flying everywhere. Well, Krista decides that she's going to go sleep in the tent after this is all over. And I decide to sleep in my car. Well, Krista, about, was it 3 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in there? Krista saw this. Yeah, Krista saw this silhouette.
Oh.
On the tent from the moonlight after that. And she saw it probably from from the shoulder up to half of the face. And she said it definitely wasn't human. I'm in my car because I went to my car to sleep because I had nowhere else to sleep. So I went to my car, right? And so I looked up thinking it was one of the girls walking around out there that had to use the restroom in the middle of the night, which we have a no girl goes alone policy, which nobody told me. So I'm kind of, extra concerned. I turn out and look out my passenger side door. There's one standing about 20 feet from me. 20 feet from me on the corner of a tent, kind of just doing the swaying thing back and forth, kind of looking around, kind of doing this. And so that was actually my second sighting. The first one, I was with Tex, and, of course, we're with 4 people out in the middle of nowhere. So that was kind of nerve-wracking all in itself. But I mean, it was the same thing. But when you said you wanted to go to your car, that made me kind of nervous because when I saw the one from my car, it made me realize how unsafe I really am.
Yeah.
By the sheer size of this thing, it could have ripped me out of that car before anybody could got out of a tent. I'd have been gone.
Mm-hmm. And what was really cool about
I could see.
About the whole situation. So it wasn't just Brandy and I, time wise, I think it was 3:12 when it was around my tent and around Brandy. And it worked its way on down by other tents. Other people had looked at their clocks. So there was actually a timeline where others had heard this creature too. The next morning, there was 14-inch impressions outside behind my tent.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Creepy.
All the
and
way walking around.
and you
Yeah.
could see the push trail because of the rain. You could see, so it was wet where it had walked. You could see the push trail where it went down the whole line of all these tents.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It was pretty incredible. Like
Yeah.
that you talk about validation,
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Okay, we're all not
More-
crazy. We
more
all
pieces
heard
to
it.
put
We all,
together.
and
There
the
you go.
time, that's what was really cool is because the timelines all matched up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, when you
that's-
can get more than one piece of evidence and put it together, I
Yep.
mean, that just, builds a case, and that's what we're trying to do.
Oh,
yeah,
Mike, I've got some stuff to show you off there. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. You can show them off air because then we'll be stuck on that for another 45 minutes because
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that stuff.
Yep.
I don't
So-
care how many times he shows those pieces of evidence. I'm still stuck on it. So
yeah.
anyway, let's
They're not
continue.
even blurry pictures, Mike. I promise.
No, they're really good.
They're not. They're
I'll take a look at them. Can't wait.
no blood squatches.
Good. Thank
No,
God.
not at all. Not at all.
We're tired of blob squatches. In this day and age,
So
it's hard to,
Right.
come on.
exactly. So, Mike, what are you doing now? I mean, that's how you began, but I mean, did this as we've been talking about the snowball effect, did this just keep building and building and building to what you're doing today?
Yeah. So it started back in 2011 when I had that first experience. Then I started researching everything I could get our hands on. In 2016, I started making my I made a YouTube show called In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and started that as a way to let's just face it, the shows on TV are kind of made for ratings and money. Right? Can we all agree?
They're
Unfortunately,
made for TV.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
they're
what
made
it's
for TV.
So I
Mhm.
was put off by that, and I wanted to make a show that showed the way Bigfooting is truly done and what it's really about. So I made the show In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and that was in 2016, and just 3 years ago in 2022, I started speaking at libraries. And that quickly, as you said, snowballed into this rippling effect, and now I tour the country full time, nationwide, speaking at libraries about Bigfoot, and venues and conferences and festivals about Bigfoot during the day, and at night I film my show, and it's been just a journey so far. Just in 2024, last year, I spent 139 nights tent camping, just looking
Wow.
for Bigfoot.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. That's fantastic. Listen, everybody, I dropped Mike's link, his channel in chat a couple times, and I'll continue to do that. So if you guys would go and subscribe to his channel.
I appreciate that.
Show them
Thanks,
some
Sophie.
love, everybody. Show them some love.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you guys.
That's you're pretty fortunate that you're able to travel and spend that many nights out in a tent, honestly.
I count my blessings every night that I'm out there, and it's funny because people, I don't tell a whole bunch of people this, but as a Bigfoot researcher,
Mhm.
I don't make a ton of money,
Right.
and
Oh,
it's
gosh.
weird. It's
hear you.
weird because
What?
if people say, "Oh yeah, you just publicly speak, you do that." No, it's not. There's a lot of overhead, but what is
Yep.
payment for me is seeing these scenes that every place that I go to, I make it a point to go and see something that I've never seen before. And
Mhm.
whether it be a mountaintop, a city street, or somewhere that my boots
Sure.
have never been before. And also along with that comes meeting all these wonderful people from not only the venues that I speak at, but from the campsites, and taking
Mhm.
people out. I can't tell you how many families that I've taken out just around the campsite looking for Bigfoot, and that's given them lifelong memories. That's just the coolest thing. I love it. I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, I don't know what your plans are when you come here, but Will Lunsford is also coming, and he's speaking, and his research area is Falk monster.
Oh, okay.
Legend of Boggy Creek, that movie, that old
I was
oldie but
supposed to go
goodie
down there this year, yeah, but unfortunately the plans changed, so and won't be
The
hitting that
best
up.
movie ever put out. About
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandy and I were fortunate. Will actually took Brandy and I out to like the location where the movie was, and the house and stuff is no longer there, but it's wow, what an area. I have to tell you, so honestly, from where you're at, you're probably not like maybe 6 hours away from there,
Yeah.
I don't know what your timeline
Yeah.
is like.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because of course, we went out and looking around and at night in the bayous and stuff, and we didn't find any evidence of Bigfoot at that time, but gators, yeah, there's a few of them,
Yeah, sure.
Lots of
Yeah.
gators.
a few of them,
Yeah.
lots of gators.
Don't get too close to the edge down there.
Yeah.
That's one thing we've learned. I got one going near that water. I'm like, here in Missouri, we just jump
Right.
into creeks and ponds. You don't down there.
So, Mike.
Yeah.
What,
Sure.
I know you went out with the BFRO, and I'm buddies with Cliff. He's a good dude.
Yes, sir. He is.
And where did you go from there?
I became an investigator with the BFRO. And I was an investigator I quote unquote volunteered with Florida for a little bit, then became an investigator with the Florida BFRO. When I moved to New Jersey, they opened me in with open arms to the family up here, which is wonderful. Then I started trying to do some of my own kind of pushing off and my own kind of videos and stuff like that. And somebody that was one of the head guys up there did not enjoy that too much, and decided that it would be best that we part ways.
Well, that does happen, especially in the cryptid community. It happens quite a bit.
Ego.
So and there's more to the story behind that, which I'm not gonna talk about on on the
Right.
air. Of course,
Right.
there is,
Get
but
it.
there always
Right.
is. But what I can say about that is the BFRO has given me the footprint and the opportunity, and finding Bigfoot gave me the opportunity to join this field and to be part of this community.
Sure.
And I will forever be in debt and grateful to them for that.
Well,
yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Like it or hate it, as far as the show goes, it spread awareness.
Mm.
I mean, and that's the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing. I was part of a paranormal team for over 10 years, and it really got my foot in the door, and I learned so much. So we parted ways. However, I am grateful for what I did learn. So I understand where you're coming from with that, Mike. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I had the same experience
Well,
with somebody, so.
Yeah.
Right. Well, finding Bigfoot, even though it was made for TV, we get that part. But still, it made Bigfoot more mainstream.
Yeah.
Made Bigfoot experiencers feel a little
helped
more
the
comfortable
community.
in their skin.
It opened my eyes to the whole world of Bigfoot. If that show was never on, I would be sitting on a street corner in the city of Tampa in an ambulance somewhere right now.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, that's legit how my life would be. And instead, I toured the country talking about Bigfoot, and now I'm here talking to you guys. How incredible is that?
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, if you'd have told me 8 years ago I'd be doing this, I'd have told you you're crazy.
Yeah. Oh, me too. 100%. Mm-hmm.
Much
I'd
less
be in the
going out
back of my
looking for
ambulance.
much less going out and looking for these critters.
Yeah.
I was, me and you got something in common, Mike. I was a firefighter EMT also.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Wow.
I got that
That's
warped
funny.
sense of humor. So yeah,
Oh, we all do, unfortunately.
yes we do.
I have a question for you, Mike. Do you believe that, there's a lot of people, and I can honestly say, like, Brandy and I, we're kind of weekend warriors, when we go out. It's not something we do every weekend, go out and look.
I'm poor.
We wish we could, but we don't. And I
I'm so poor. I couldn't afford to live that lifestyle. That's lavish. That is a lavish lifestyle. Just saying.
So poor you can't pay attention.
right, there you go. But do you believe that, do you go back to the same places all the time where maybe these creatures get to kind of know you a little bit, or, do you hit a lot of different areas where do you think it matters? Like if they know you, they'll show themselves more, or, communicate with you more, or throw more rocks, or, things like that.
Okay. 2 answers. Do you want the honest answer or do you want the real answer?
Let's do both.
Okay. Well, they're both kind of similar, but real answer is yes, it would be great to go back to a same spot every week or every couple of days to leave a pattern. If you can leave patterns and find these creatures, then you're going to be able to find how the creature is going to react and be able to get evidence of the creature that way. That's a perfect scenario if you have a habituation. If you live in a place that has Bigfoot activity and you want to do this and you have the correct circumstances, very rare and hard to come by. My answer, where I look for a Bigfoot is since I speak at libraries full time, I travel state to state. I have to logistically, I have to kind of triangulate where I'm going to be, where the most logistical sense. So I'm going to be in the center of where those libraries are going to be, and I pick a state park or national forest in that area, and I go there. Now, not saying that that's always going to be squatchy, but what I am saying is that there don't have to always be reports of Bigfoot to have a Bigfoot in that area. There just might not be anybody looking.
Right.
So yeah, I've been to some really incredible areas that have had no reports of Squatch in the past, but I've also been to some really incredibly active areas that I've gotten some incredible activity as well. So it doesn't really matter. I think if you're in a good area, you're in a good area,
Yeah. Gotcha. Makes sense to me. Flat Rock asked real quick. I'll ask you here real quick. He says, is Mike going to be more private properties, Bigfooting, like going to private property?
Are you going to private properties?
Oh, I will. Well, if y'all head over to the YouTube channel, you could see a very intriguing, awesome episode I did with Flat Rock. Actually, Flat Rock invited me to his property, and we had he explained some very intriguing stuff that was going on. So you can listen to that. It's really cool over on the YouTube channel. I always try to go to private property because there's nobody else there.
Right.
That's the best way to get evidence, is when you don't have the possibility of having someone else messing with you or bouncing off of somebody. Even in the deepest, darkest woods, there's only a 99% chance that somebody's not there.
Right.
So even you can get the quality evidence of Bigfoot vocalizations. You can rule out humans, but generally speaking, you can't rule out humans no matter where you go. If you can get there, somebody else can get there, really.
Right.
We're
right.
We got so blessed on the investigation that we're in the middle of right now. We're on 2,000 acres of private land that's gated and locked. Nobody lives.
Nice.
And it's a dogman investigation / paranormal. It's an incredible place. It really is. But yeah, I feel you on the whole private land thing. My main research area, Brown Springs, is a public wildlife refuge, and you have to deal with that human factor. Especially when you get out there.
Yes.
And it's you really have to. It really has to be convincing freaking evidence before you can even think about paying it any attention, because there's so much of the human factor out there. But that's usually not a problem. But yeah, I feel you, man. There's such a difference between going to public lands and doing your investigations and going on private lands, because it cuts down so much on
Yeah.
what you have to question, and it's to me, even if you get less evidence, you get more credible evidence.
Right.
It's like you were saying earlier with the podcast.
Yeah.
You're looking to do more. What was it? Dadgummit. Here I go.
I know. Just like that, it's gone.
Oh my God! I quit.
The private case thing. I like doing that. I like doing that with the ghost and stuff. And I think with the Bigfoot and the cryptid phenomena. Brandy and I actually have a private case. We're just waiting on the weather to kind of get a little nicer.
Give us a break. Yeah. Of course, we got the Arctic blast coming in again. So it's going to be like negative temperatures. But I mean, we've got to get that weather plays a big part for us because, in Missouri, you never know what you're going to get. It's like, it's 1 minute. It's like today it was almost 60 degrees down here. And tomorrow it's going to be like 30.
Hey, side note,
should I
be camping or Airbnb when I'm out there in September?
There is a great hotel or,
Is it like below 40 degrees when I camp?
In September, no.
Okay.
No. It'll be pleasant.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Probably not.
Okay.
Missouri is just like Texas in September. You don't.
Well, we could have a hurricane.
You don't know what you're going to get. Okay.
Yeah. Are you going to tent camp? Is that what you do? You tent camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, I mean, we could have a hurricane, Tex. I mean, there is that factor.
Oh, that wouldn't be the first, probably nor the last that I've been camping in a hurricane, so not a problem.
I will say this. If need be, you can be the little spoon. Okay.
Oh, that's actually my favorite. So, not gonna lie.
Oh, you've been brought in now, Mike. You can be
Part of the
little
family.
spoon.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Honestly, if it comes down to it, Kathy from the museum, I mean, she can't let everybody, but if you wanted to pop your tent right there at the museum, you probably could.
We'll figure it out.
I know someone who knows someone. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I know someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
You wouldn't be the first one to pop a tent on the museum grounds, put it that way. But it does back up to it's rural. It's all rural area. So you never know. We've never
know.
Kind of hunting out there at the museum. It's always been ghost.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's steeped in history. I mean, how could you not do that right there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, I think, you going out and been doing it for so long, it just like, what is like, I know that first experience was pretty cool. Have you had any more experiences that were like, oh my God, what just happened type?
Yeah. A couple of them. The second one, I don't know. The second one was interesting. So after this Bigfoot expedition, we Jimmy and I, we made it our personal goal to figure out what could throw these rocks at us. Right. Mm-hmm. So we started, talking to every researcher, meeting every witness, researching all the hot spots. And in about a 3-week time frame, we decided that we are now professionals. So we decided that we are going to go out by ourselves and look for Bigfoot, right? Okay. So two of us were in this Central Florida park. It's beautiful, Colt Creek State Park. And we're there and one night only. And I'm doing what I've seen them do on all the TV shows, and that's do Bigfoot calls every 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing a Bigfoot call like it's my job, right? Anything with a brain would know that there's two idiots running through the woods making these sounds, right? So anything with a brain probably would have got out of the area, right? Anyways, so we're about 1.5 miles from camp. Jimmy, my buddy again, he is not scared at all because he's got his 6-foot-tall machete and his 10 million lumen spotlight that he's got shining around, So we're not missing anything in the woods, So about 1.5 miles from camp, and all of a sudden Jimmy's spotlight hits 2 pairs of reflecting eyes, eye shine, right? One pair is reflecting red like a fire truck. The other pair, aqua blue, like a ocean, And we think, in our infinite wisdom of everything in the woods, we think it's people. We didn't realize people don't have eye shine. We can't see at night like our pets can, right? So we were so new to this, we didn't realize that. So anyways, we start yelling out to him, "Hey, we're just looking for Bigfoot." And
That's
no
funny.
reply, right? Just those eyes staring back at us, right? And then we thought they were like poaching, like illegally like poaching animals. So we're like, oh, this is not a cool scenario to be in right now.
Right.
So we're like, hey, we're just looking for Bigfoot. Like, we're just gonna go back to camp. Don't mean to bother you guys. And then the red set of eyes turns and looks at the blue set, turns and looks back at us, and then blinks. Nope. Another nope moment in our lives. Out of there real quick. Jimmy, my buddy, he put a notch in the tree with his machete. We went back the next day before we left to do a recreation, and we saw that the eyes were about 7.5 feet tall and about 2 feet apart from each other. So,
Wow.
that was pretty cool.
I'll tell you, I am so glad to hear you say that you did that, because people need to learn. You've got to recreate. You've got you got to take measurements. You got,
Pictures,
and if at all possible,
everything.
if you're taking stills, take 3 to 5 in a row. So I mean, it validates the stuff that you're capturing.
The funny part of that story is we went back when and we were looking for footprints, like footprints in the area, and we could actually see where the Bigfoot could have like ducked down a little bit because the eyes like disappeared almost. We didn't hear anything run away, but we kind of saw like a thing where it could have ducked down, and we actually found a big handprint.
Oh wow.
But at that time we were so new, we were looking for big feet, not big hands. So
But I do have a question. Please tell me Jimmy still hunts with you. He investigates with you.
He's in Florida still, and I'm happy to announce I'm going to be doing an episode when we go down there in a week and a half. So yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. He is actually the founder of a Florida bushcraft group now. He's in the survivalist and bushcraft stuff, and what's intriguing about this whole thing is prior to this expedition, just like I said, I've never been into never been in the woods or anything. Jimmy never been either. And Jimmy was a skateboard DJ from Ybor City in Tampa, and now he is an outdoor bushcraft survivalist.
Cool. Very cool.
Runs a 20,000 fan page on Facebook. That's and it's all because, and I say this everywhere I go in every presentation I do, it's all because of Bigfoot. People don't realize that. It's because of nothing else besides Bigfoot that I'm here talking to you guys, and I'm able to do what I do right now. It's just it's so amazing.
I'd love to have Jimmy on to talk about that. Not Bigfoot, just the bushcraft survivors, because there's so many people, go out there that are just ill prepared, and a lot of them pay the ultimate price for it. The 2 Bigfoot hunters that passed away in Washington.
Just
of course, now we're hearing, and I'm not surprised that we're hearing this. Now we're hearing from certain sources that they were tore up.
Yeah, well, I
think they're rumors, though, just because people, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's so hard to get the truth. But my point is, people tend to go out very, very ill prepared. They think it's just a summer walk in the woods or a spring walk in the woods.
Sure.
I'm not worried about the critters. Okay, and Mike, that's what I call Bigfoot and Dogman critters.
Yep.
It's not them you got to worry about. It's everything else,
Right.
Yeah.
and your preparedness to be out there with either, the heat or the cold or any of it,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and you have to, it would be great to talk to somebody that can give somebody some tips to go out there, not just some like us, not just some Bigfooter that.
Well, Jimmy's
may or may
person.
not take care.
He's a wilderness survival and wilderness first aid person. So I'll give you the contact info.
So what are your thoughts, Mike, about, I got a couple questions here.
Sure.
So I want thoughts on like doing tree knocks and howling, yelling for them. Because I personally believe you don't have to do that. I believe you can sit down and camp and they'll come to you just because I believe they're curious.
Sure.
And my second question is, what was it? It left me. Oh, gifting. What do you think about gifting?
Okay. So we'll take the first part, tree knocks and howling. For me to film a show. Okay. Let me rephrase that. The best way to go out to look for Bigfoot is to go into the deepest, darkest woods you can with no equipment, no cell phone, with a chair, sit there for 12 hours and listen. It's the best way you're going to get evidence of Bigfoot, not do anything, right? However, I have found, as per my ratings on YouTube, that makes a very piss poor show. So we have decided that doing these tree knocks and these vocalizations actually kind of elicit responses of Bigfoot, and it has been proven in the past with my just not with anybody else, but just in my evidence capturing. I've gotten response tree knocks, response vocalizations, response whistles, and stuff like that. So that's why I do it, because it makes sense. That's what works for me in the past. When it comes to knocks and stuff, I think it's really cool. My friend has a theory, and I've kind of taken that theory on as well, is that when you enter a forest or a woods as a Bigfoot researcher and you hear knocking in the woods, you hear Bigfoot tree knocks, the number of knocks that you hear going into the woods is the number of people that are with you in your group.
Wow.
And that has proven to be time after time and has been proven across the country. And to my knowledge, I don't know anybody that has come up with that theory. So if we could get some more researchers on board saying, hey, that's a good idea, that makes sense, that I've heard two knocks when I've had two researchers, or I'm solo, I've only heard one knock in the past. And in New Jersey, I could tell you that's how it works.
Wow. That's really interesting, because I hadn't heard that before.
So
that's pretty cool.
So
I'd like to play you something. I'd like to play you something, Mike, and get your take on it.
Sure. Love to hear it.
Okay.
Where's that captured at?
That is out of southeast Oklahoma on, you'll see him in chat, Gary Spike Sr. That's on his property. He's actually one of our trackers in our group. And that came off of his property. Now, what's really cool about, I know the howls are fantastic. They really are.
Yeah.
But if you listen between the howls, there's grunts that are closer to the mic.
Yeah, I'd have to listen to it a little bit closer to give any sort of analysis on it. But that does sound initially, I mean, I don't know what else could make that, It's almost like a vocalization. It sounds very similar to a vocalization I got in High Point. I got in New Jersey, I got 3 howls. Whoa, whoa. And then the third one, the coyotes started, going on it. I wish I could play it for you guys now. I don't think I can though. But it's on the YouTube channel if you want to listen to it. Best Sasquatch vocalization or something like that on the YouTube channel.
Which is In the Shadow of the Big Red Eye.
That's me.
So y'all need to go subscribe and listen and look at his evidence. He's got some cool stuff.
Appreciate that.
And I
Yeah,
actually
I subscribe.
again. Yeah, we all
Nice.
have.
Appreciate that.
I subscribe. There's
There's a
a
lot of
couple in
people
chat
going, "Oh, I just
that have
subscribed.
subscribed to.
Yeah, I've seen people say that they've been subscribing to you.
Well, I appreciate everybody that's subscribing. That means so much. Actually, my manager just texted me. We just hit 4,600 people subscribing. to us.
Congratulations! Very cool.
That's amazing.
Go.
Yeah, thank you
Very
guys
cool.
so much. Appreciate that.
Very cool. We have actually 97 people right now in chat, and
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
and there's actually 352 people watching. That's total. So
Well, there you go. All those 352 people watching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Every
Click
one
the
of you
subscribe
go
button.
over and hit that subscribe button to Texas
Right.
Front Porch. I mean, in shadow of the big red.
You better stop it, Tex. Or Rob. Should we call him Rob?
yeah, Freaky
Right.
Geek says that's a lot of lurkers, and it is. We do get a lot of lurkers. We all do, and that's okay because they matter too. So you don't have to.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Everybody's gonna listen to
Everybody
absolutely
matters.
everything.
Yep, absolutely. So gifting.
Oh yeah, gifting. So that's an interesting one for me because I dibble dabbed it with it for about I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. I had an area in Northwest New Jersey that I found an unusual structure.
Mhm.
Couldn't have been it. It was interwoven tree structure. Love to see the storm that could have did that. You know what I mean? Have we all found one of them? It's like what
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm just gonna leave a gift to it. So I had some I think at the time I had a cat toy or something like that for my grandmother's kitten. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna grab this. I found it on the couch or something she lost. So I grabbed it, I just put it on the tree structure and I went back and it was gone the next I don't know or so. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, it must have fell off, must have the wind, whatever. So I started getting a little more intricate and I started tying them and either they would disappear or they would move.
Mhm.
So that stopped because winter came and I started touring and I couldn't go back to the place anymore. I started my tour and I stopped gifting. So I went back and maybe I guess early the next spring. Found a tree that was upside down that was not there. This thing was shoved into the ground,
Mhm.
right? And the interwoven structure was like 10 times bigger.
Wow.
So I don't know. I never placed a trail cam there.
Mhm.
I can't say it was Bigfoot. I can't say it was humans. I'm pretty sure it was outside of human range. It would have took. We tried to construct a similar one too. It took 5 of us to even come close to manipulating the trees like that, and it took us all afternoon. So, why would somebody do that is another question. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Real quick, BJ, she says, see, I told you all that Mike is a nice guy. He won't remember me, but at the Jefferson County Paranormal and Bigfoot Expo, Pennsylvania, he confirmed my juvenile Bigfoot print was what I thought.
Aw. Oh.
There you go. There you go.
I appreciate that.
I don't know. He told me, he goes, hey, does that BJ woman hang out in y'all's chat before the sports show?
Yeah. Well,
You remember
it's funny.
living-
Most people talk bad about me, so it's
Yeah.
nice. It's nice to hear
Yeah.
some different different things.
Several
every once
people
in
have
a
been
while.
talking very nice about you, for sure.
So-
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Krista.
I was just going to say, a lot of our guests, we have, we make friends with them. And so we have them on multiple times and you know what, you're a nice guy. So I imagine we're going to be reaching out to you again here.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'd be honored to be on again. This has just been a whole bunch of fun.
Yeah. Well, we're not done yet.
I know, which is great. I know. We're just getting going, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to get your, since you kind of opened this Pandora's box, let's talk about tree structures for a little bit.
Sure.
I'm not a big structure kind of guy. Okay. But I'm very, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It absolutely does, but it has to be very, very intricate.
Yeah.
And very, very hard to disprove before I'll swallow that. Now, when you got trees that are stuck in, uprooted, stuck in the ground upside down, it's kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah,
But,
certainly is.
Right.
You know, the most fascinating structure and it wasn't even a structure. Okay. It wasn't. The most fascinating thing that I've ever seen, I literally ran into one night walking through the forest right outside of, where the hell was that conference? It was in Texas, dadgummit, East Texas.
Shade.
Thank you, Shade Viking, who's been a member for 6 months.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you. It was these branches were the biggest branch was probably about as big around as my finger. Okay, and there was 2 of them. They were pulled over like this across the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And now you'll get that where you see they grow into each other, you know. But this wasn't like that because the marks, and I kind of pulled it apart and looked for growth marks, you know, where they'll press up against each other. There was none of that. These things were woven in with each other, and that's all it was. But it was across the trail that I just happened to, because I went off trail and I just happened to walk right into it, smacked me right in the face. Okay.
Right.
And it was, of course, I couldn't see 2 feet in front of my eyes, but it was dark, not because I'm blind. But those, I think, and it was only like 5.5 feet off the ground, right? Those fascinate me, I think, more than the big ones do, because I think that's the juveniles learning, you know, and
Yeah, absolutely.
I see a lot of the stuff that you know, these glyphs made with these sticks that people find laying on the trail just randomly, and you know, piles of rocks and stuff like that. And you know, some people's even found the sticks laid in a shape on the ground. And then next to it are little holes in the ground.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that's the little ones playing, you know, and learning and watching mama and daddy do stuff. Those fascinate me the most. But I'll tell you what, the one thing that I absolutely love are twists, to the point to where there's no other way that this thing was broke. It was twisted, you know. And the best one I have ran across was an oak tree about this big around, and it was twisted, and it broke about 3 feet off the ground, and it was twisted until it just exploded, and it looked like one of those little, you know how in grade school we used to make the lanterns out of construction paper?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. And it was so fresh, it was still bleeding sap.
Wow.
And we couldn't find any tool marks. It's down in the river bottoms and down on the Red River bottoms. We couldn't find any tool marks. We couldn't find any vehicle marks, nothing. And around this thing, and I'm thinking, okay, and I'm trying to debunk this. I'm thinking, okay, level 0, dust devil was what we call them, come through. That's possible, right?
Sure.
But the thing about it is, there was little saplings just all around this thing about this big around, and they were dead, and none of them were broke.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you gotta ask yourselves, like, has anybody ever saw a Bigfoot manipulating a tree? No.
Yeah.
So why as Bigfoot researchers do we associate tree manipulations with Bigfoot?
Right.
Is it because there's nothing else that is out there in the woods to say that that's what's going on?
Sure.
Is there other factors that could be going on out there? Yeah, maybe. But just to think that we automatically assume that it's a Bigfoot doing that is kind of crazy, I think, to start with. I mean, we're Bigfoot researchers, so we got to be kind of crazy to start with. I get it. But but nobody's ever saw a Bigfoot manipulating a tree. But I will say, I've seen
Shade.
intricate
Thank you,
woven.
Shane.
Thanks, Shade. Intricate woven kind of things. Like I've said, I've seen very large breaks that, like you're saying, Tex, is just outside of human range, not possible to be anything else but it's Bigfoot, really.
Yeah.
But then you got to add in. Let's look for something more to this. Let's see how we could take this from taking it as being an anomalous tree break to being Bigfoot related. And the way that you have to, as a researcher, to do this is by look for patterns. You look for 20 feet, 30 feet, 30 yards, 50 yards away, and you see if there's any tree breaks that are in the same direction. And you go past that and look for the same thing. If you find patterns of tree breaks in the same direction, you show intent and you show knowledge. You show intelligence, right? From there, you can gain that this was not something that was just a random animal or a random weather pattern that happened throughout the forest. And then you could even take that and hopefully it's outside of human range, and you could say, okay, now what's outside of human range that has intelligence in the forest? You know, I think these tree breaks seem to, people ask, why do Bigfoot break trees? I don't know. Nobody does. But if I were a betting man, I would say if you were to find those intricate breaks and the breaks in patterns, they all point in directions to food patches, berry patches, which Bigfoot are known to eat, I think.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
primates do that. So I think Bigfoot might do that too.
You know, and I don't know why they make these things. Sometimes I think it's just boredom.
Could be. Could be.
You know, sometimes
like the juveniles, like we were just talking about, the juveniles not having anything. I think they're very bored. They don't have anything to do. So why don't they manipulate little trees and put them on the ground?
And somebody thinks it's possibly just their form of art.
Could be. Yeah.
You know?
Very well. There's gotta be, if they're intelligent, they gotta be bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored sitting on my computer and there's the internet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, crap, they gotta be really bored sitting out there with nothing to do.
Well, and some people say, you know, like that's them marking their territory. You know, this is this, you know, one's area and this is this one's area. So, you know, I don't know. I really,
but it can't be just them all out there just hunting for food and finding water sources. It just can't be just all that and nothing else. I mean, they have to have some form of entertainment, whatever that may be for them.
Yeah.
Playtime, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, could it be? And I think I don't think it's any one explanation, to be honest with you. I think the different things for, I don't think these nests or, these huge structures because you find a lot of the igloo like stuff, that's, but none of it's like going to keep the water off of you completely. None of it's going to keep the wind off of you completely, but it will serve as a wind break, And I think I don't think any of them are permanent. I think those types are very, very temporary. Maybe they're passing through the area, because I do think they roam through territories, much like a big cat. We all know I think that. But but I think some of them are just, like Mike said, they're freaking bored.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was bored and could lift 10,000 pounds, what would I do? I'd be stacking cars on top of each other.
Right. Well, you got to think of this too. I mean, we talk about them like in family units. Okay, that they run around as a family type. I mean, what if you got two brothers out there? They're young, they're just having fun, wrestling, throwing things, tearing up stuff just to have a good time. I mean, you got to think of it that way. I mean, they're just out there having a good time, just whatever. And I mean, some of those tree breaks and things like that could be caused from some of that, just horseplay altogether.
Mhm. I have another question for you, Mike.
Sure.
So, a couple times, Brandy and I have met Ron Moorhead, and the Sierra Sounds.
Yeah.
And I personally believe it's legit. Like, I believe that it's another language, that it's like their language that they talk. Have you ever been out in the woods and heard anything similar to that? And if so, what is your thoughts on the Sierra Sounds?
I've never heard anything quite like the Sierra Sounds. They're like the gold of Bigfoot vocalizations. I've had the opportunity to not only meet Mr. Moorhead in person, but actually get to introduce him as an MC of an event, which is really, really just,
cool.
I mean, one of
He's
the
a nice guy, isn't he?
one of the coolest things I've ever had the pleasure of doing. And I got to speak with him for a while. And not only do I think they're one of the most legit things, he's one of the most legit people that you ever have the privilege of speaking to. So I long for the day that I get to be able to hear those vocalizations, in the woods sometime, and record them and have maybe Sierra Sounds 2, part 2.
Yeah, I hear you. I had heard him before. Brandy and I had met Ron, and after meeting him and talking to him, and actually we were at the Land Between the Lakes, and he was there.
Nice.
He was there. So he's just such a nice guy, and so I agree with you. Like, he couldn't be more honest, and Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like being out in the woods with him. The stories come out. But I'm with you, Mike, when you said I've never heard anything else like that. I haven't heard anybody have anything else like that. I've heard some recordings from Alaska that are close, but not necessarily exactly like
same,
that.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that the speech pathologists and stuff can all agree that that's no human capabilities. I mean, that in itself, and you have that recorded, it's like, man, that's gotta say something. It's like everybody's can say whatever they want about it, but in my opinion, it's like the Patty footage. It's very legit. It's the first of its kind. Somebody at some point, if this creature does exist, is going to get footage and evidence of this creature. Started with video with the Patty footage, in 1967, and I think that's legit. I don't have any reason to believe it's not. Same thing as the Sierra Sounds, and I believe they are not only, you mentioned Land Between the Lakes, I think they just came out with a documentary about that, but also the Sierra Sounds. I think Ron Moorhead and Eric Monge or somebody just did a documentary about that, and going into the detail of it. So it's really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, the Land Between the Lakes one. Actually, Brandy and I make a little appearance in that one. It's done by Greg Ogle.
Oh, cool.
We're in that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Here I am plugging the video. I don't even know you guys are in it. Look at that.
It's worth the watch. It's a good one.
Nice.
It was fantastic and very fun to be out there in the woods with everybody and just exploring and looking, and it was really a great time. It was a great time.
Oh, great. I'm glad you guys had an awesome time doing that. That's what it's all about, right?
Have you been to Land Between the Lakes?
Yeah, I was there last year, and unfortunately I was there right after a massive storm went through, and it closed. I was supposed to stay at Energy Lake Campground, and it flooded the campground. There were trees down. People couldn't leave the campground for a week, type of thing.
Wow.
So I was I thankfully was not part of that, but I got a different campground. But everything was just so saturated and there was nothing going. I did meet some really cool people. I don't know if you know Mike Smith and Dusty Rhodes of down there. They're really cool people. But I got the opportunity to meet some awesome people and did some research down there. It's all also on the YouTube channel, so you can check that out too.
Very cool. Yeah, you know,
that would be In the Shadow of the Big Red Eye, folks. So go
I've been dropping the link. Yep. You know, you mentioned Energy Lake, and Brandy and I have a couple stories. We could tell you some stories about Energy Lake.
That's the place.
That was our first night we were out there. Wasn't that Energy Lake, Brandy? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Brandy saw eye shine.
Cool.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, we could tell you some stories about that place. And there's several times. But when we go, you know, there's several different campgrounds out there that are great places to go to. And, you know, people say like Dogmen are in one side and Bigfoot are in the other. I don't believe that. I think, you know, they just kind of commingle, you know, maybe not commingle, but like.
Yeah, I think they just, I think they kind of just go around each other. They tolerate that they're in the same area, but I you know, because some people say, oh, they work together. I'm not, I have never seen anything where there was like a Dogman print and a Bigfoot print in the same area. You know what I mean? It's not like they were side by side, or even I've never seen anything that would say that was happening. But I do think that they kind of just tolerate each other and kind of keep their distance from each other.
What are your views on like Dogmen?
So you know, and I'm not gonna. I spend a legitimate amount of time out in the woods, all over, right? Bigfoot territory, in the deepest of the deepest places that I could possibly get to. And I could honestly say that I've never come across anything that I can relate to being anything but a Sasquatch. Now, I'm not saying that it's not out there. Not saying Dogman's not out there. I just haven't had I haven't came across it yet. So I can't say anything about it. If it exists or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, you know, Chris and I, same thing. Nothing, we have never seen anything that would be Dogman related. But just recently, we caught a howl that did not sound like anything in that area. Not a dog, not a wolf, not a coyote. It didn't sound anything. It was very strange for the place we were at. Even though we're not sure of what it is, but there have been sightings in that area. But we have never seen anything, but we can't deny what we heard. It was something else. That's all we can say is that it was something else.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. I have no idea what it was, but we were actually
I'm not even going to chime in on this conversation.
Yeah, right. He's had the up close and personal version.
Oh boy.
But personally, no, we've not.
And it's not to say that I don't long for the day. I really do. I long for the day that I could see Bigfoot being beamed down by a UFO. Oh my God, how cool would that be? That would be the coolest thing I think anybody has ever seen before in their entire lives. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely be cool.
Strange things have happened, I guess.
And that's my thing, you know, it's you know, you talked about what you've encountered, you know, and your encounters might be different from other people, so it doesn't mean that any way is wrong.
No,
you know,
my whole thing, and the reason why I do what I do, and the reason why I tour and I speak at libraries and stuff is, in my mission statement is to try to entice friends and families to get off the couch and into nature more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
To see something that you wouldn't see sitting on the couch every day. That's fundamentally why I love to do what I do. And I would challenge everybody that's listening to this program right now to take that waterfall hike that you've been putting off taking for the past couple of years. You know, the one I'm talking about, you know, that one in the back of your head that you've been putting off taking. hike. Just see something different.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Bigfooting's not for you. Maybe it's fundamentally it's not, for you. It's not for everybody, but there are other things that you could do outside. Photography, there's fishing. I used to fish. I haven't lit a line in a couple of years, but God, I used to think that was the most boring thing in the world. I enjoy it. Like, that's cool. Start talking about survival stuff. I can start a fire with 2 sticks. Come on. Never in my life. But like I said, it's all because of Bigfoot. So I think that's just if I could just hammer that point home, that's what I would try to say everybody.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up to we are on the hour and a half mark. This show went by really fast.
It did. It's just
wow. It
gone.
is 10. Wow. It's 10:30 already. 9:30 for you guys. 10:30 for me. Wow.
Yeah. That's it went by fast. And usually when they go by fast, because I've enjoyed them, and I've enjoyed this, talking to you and getting to know you, and I honestly truly look forward to meeting you in person in September.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards after the show, and we'll set something up for sure, dinner, whatever, and we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
whatever.
Yep, for sure. I want to thank T-Bone. Thank you very much. And Shade Viking. And once again, our buddy Shade Viking. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. And then tomorrow night, Brandy and I will be talking on the ghost of the Civil War. Not just Gettysburg, but there's a lot of different places. So battlefields, locations, and the whole 9 yards. So that's going to be fun.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
And I did talk to Randy from Truth or Tinfoil. Randy will be on with us tomorrow night. Him and I have gone over lots of evidence from different battlefields and things like that, because that's his stick. He likes that stuff. So we have a lot, and we're going to bring that to the show and go over it and look at it and just be amazed, because some of it is just absolutely just wow.
Pretty cool stuff. So anyway, tune in tomorrow night. After this show, you got not Monica tonight. It'd be Tex on the Night Owl. You and Joe Breezy, correct?
Yeah, we're going to talk Dogman.
Cool.
Whoa. There it is.
You guys, in about 25 minutes, hop over to the Texas Front Porch side and check out and see what they have going on. And Mike, once again, thank you very much. Definitely.
Thank you so much. It's been real fun.
I'll tell you, I've stepped back from doing podcasts, but anytime you want me to come on, I'd be more than happy to. This was so much fun, and you guys are just awesome. You guys are a fun group of people, and your audience is so much fun too. So anytime, I'd be happy.
Absolutely,
Awesome.
Yeah. You'll be back.
Absolutely. I'll get you on the porch.
Yes.
Nice,
for
yeah,
sure.
for
Right.
sure. Text, let me know. Give me shoot me a message or a friend request or whatever.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, guys. We will see you all tomorrow night. And Mike, don't go anywhere quite yet.
Okay.
All right,
See y'all.
7 p.m. Central tomorrow night, everybody. See you then.
Yep.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys.
See ya.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.